Hi guys, this is Jason. I'm back again to teach a little English today, and I'm going to teach a little history at the same time. Holidays are a really great way to study a culture, and one of the most popular holidays around the world is called Independence Day. So today we're going to talk about Independence Day in several countries, and then we'll finish by talking about how Americans celebrate Independence Day. We're going to do something else a little bit different today. I'm actually going to read you something I wrote about Independence Day. And then after I'm done showing you the pictures, we're going to look at it one more time so you can see what some of the difficult words that I used mean. So here we go. I would like to talk about Independence Day. Countries all around the world celebrate their liberation from another country. In South Korea, Independence Day is celebrated on August 15th. That was the day that the Japanese gave up their claim to the country in 1945. Canada Day is July 1st, and it was originally called Dominion Day. In 1867, 3 different British colonies united into one giant colony, which was renamed Canada. I cannot pronounce the French name very well, but France's Independence Day is often called Bastille Day, and that is celebrated on July 14th every year. The Bastille was a French prison that revolutionaries stormed in 1789 to seize arms to use against the French aristocracy. America celebrates Independence Day on the 4th of July. It was first celebrated in 1776 when the Second Continental Congress finished writing the Declaration of Independence. Fireworks are a common sight as well. If the weather cooperates, there are a lot of picnics with barbecued hamburgers and hot dogs. Apple pie a la mode is a popular dessert. How do Americans celebrate Independence Day, or the 4th of July as it is commonly called? Most people get the holiday off from work and school, and towns often plan special events to celebrate America's birthday. Many cities and suburbs will have a parade in the afternoon. Bristol, Rhode Island, has held an annual parade since 1785. In New York City, at a fast food chain called Nathan's Famous, there is a hot dog eating contest on the 4th every year. The record for this contest was set by Joey Chestnut in 2021 when he crammed 76 hot dogs down his throat in just 10 minutes. Okay, right now let's go ahead and take one more look at what I just read you and help you to see what some of the difficult words were. So I would like to talk about Independence Day. Independence means freedom. Okay, so when a country gains independence, it means it no longer belongs to another country. When I was young, there was a really great movie. It was called Home Alone. In the movie, there's a little boy named Kevin who screamed and went, "Ah!" I think you all seen that video. Well, Kevin, or the actor that played him, became so rich that he asked for independence from his parents, even though he was still a child, so he could control his own money. So independence, again, means freedom. Countries all around the world celebrate their liberation from another country. Liberation actually is another word, means independence, or to gain your independence. So I liberated you means I freed you. In South Korea, Independence Day is celebrated on August 15th. Celebrated? Well, it just means that you have a party. You appreciate something and you cherish something. So my birthday is coming in a few weeks. I'm going to celebrate it with my family. And that was the day that the Japanese gave up their claim to the country in 1945. Claim can be used in a few different ways. But here, to give up your claim means that Japan said that Korea no longer belonged to them. So up until that point, Korea had been a Japanese colony for a couple decades. But after the end of World War II, the Japanese said that Korea was granted its freedom. They were given their freedom, so Japan gave up its claim on the country. Okay. Canada Day is July 1st, and it was originally called Dominion Day. Dominion is actually a word that we don't use very often anymore. But if you have dominion over something, that means you have power over something, or you have control over something. In the Bible, God told Adam and Eve that they had dominion over all of the animals on the earth. They had control of them. In 1867, three different British colonies united into one giant colony, which was renamed Canada. Giant is a noun, but a giant is a very, very big person. So here we use giant as an adjective, but what does it mean? It means it was a very big colony. So today, Canada is the second biggest country in the world. So you could also say that today, Canada is a giant country. I cannot pronounce the French name well, but France's Independence Day is often called Bastille Day, and that is celebrated on July 14th every year. The Bastille was a French prison that revolutionaries stormed. A revolutionary is a person that fights for a new government in their country. So a revolutionary is a person that said, we don't like you, King Louis of France, and we want a democracy just like those Americans had. Now they stormed the Bastille. The Bastille, again, was a prison, but a storm could be like bad weather. So a hurricane is an awfully terrible storm. Here, though, revolutionaries stormed the prison. Storm is a verb, and it means that they invaded the prison. They took control of the prison. They went into the prison and they knocked the people that were in charge of it. They kicked them out, or they killed them. Now it says they stormed in 1789 to seize arms. Seize means to take something, but not necessarily something that's given to you. You forcefully take something, so you seize it. One of my favorite quotes, Carpe diem, which literally means seize the day. No one's going to give you that time. You have to take it. Now, arms, of course, one meaning of arms are these two things attached to my shoulders. But here, arms is another word for weapons. So the French revolutionaries went to this prison so they could get guns to use against the French aristocracy. Aristocracy is a word that we don't use a lot anymore. Most countries don't have an aristocracy. But these would maybe be called the nobility for a country. So if you were a duke or a baron, an earl, a duchess, then congratulations. You are part of the aristocracy of your country. America celebrates Independence Day on the 4th of July. It was first celebrated in 1776 when the Second Continental Congress. A continent is a very big piece of land. On the entire planet Earth, there are only 7 continents. Now, continental just means an adjective that refers to the entire continent. So the Continental Congress was talking about the only established government for North America at that time. But we can also say a continental railroad. Continental railroad means that it crosses the entire continent. So not just China, it covers China and India and the Koreas and dang, dang, dang. So the Continental Congress finished writing the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most famous pieces of paper ever written. But a declaration is like a formal statement. If you change declaration into a verb, then it becomes the word declare. So I declare I am a very lucky man because of my wife and my daughter. How do Americans celebrate Independence Day, or the 4th of July as it is commonly called? Commonly means how we're usually calling something. What is the common name for something? In America, we usually don't go say Happy Independence Day. We usually just say Happy 4th of July. In my hometown in Seattle, they actually have a restaurant. It's called Ivar's. And so what do they call it? Happy 4th of Julyvers. By the way, I love Ivar's clam chowder. I hope you can try it sometime. Most people get the holiday off from work and school, and towns often plan special events to celebrate America's birthday. Many cities and suburbs will have a parade during the afternoon. A suburb is a small town that surrounds a larger city. So I always tell people I was born in Boston. Actually, that's not true. I was born in a suburb of Boston called South Weymouth. However, if you don't live in the New England area, probably you don't know the town of South Weymouth. So I don't say the suburb where I was born. I say the big city where I first lived. Now it finishes. Bristol, Rhode Island has held an annual parade since 1785. Well, first of all, Rhode Island, if you don't know, is a U.S. state. Often when people give names, they give two names in a row, Bristol, Rhode Island, or they'll say London, England. Now Rhode Island is a U.S. state, but Bristol is a city. If I say that I want to travel to London, England, then I will say London, the city, and then the country, England. Okay? So you'll often hear that people give two names. First is almost always a city, followed by a state or a region or a country. And annual, in this case, annual means once a year. So Bristol, Rhode Island has an annual parade. So every year on the 4th of July, they have a parade. And they started in 1785, when America was not even 10 years old yet. All right. Fireworks are a common sight as well. Common sight means that this is something that you usually see, or at least on the 4th of July. So I drive a Hyundai Sonata. It's a nice car, but is it a special car? No. Sonatas are a very common sight in South Korea. If I drive a Ford, that's a little bit less common. If I drive a Ferrari, oh my goodness, people think I'm very special. Ferraris are not a common sight in my town. If the weather cooperates, there are a lot of picnics. Cooperate means, in this case, that the weather is nice to us. If it doesn't rain, if the weather cooperates. So one of my friends got married outside. He was lucky. The weather cooperated on his wedding day. It was sunny, but it wasn't too hot. The weather cooperates. So there are a lot of picnics with barbecued hamburgers and hot dogs. Apple pie a la mode is a popular dessert. I miss apple pie. You can't get good apple pie in Korea, I'm afraid. But a la mode simply means that whatever you get a scoop of ice cream on the side. It's a French term originally, but apple pie a la mode, cheesecake a la mode, chocolate cake a la mode. I'm sorry if you're getting hungry, so am I. In New York City, at a fast food chain called Nathan's Famous. A chain, of course, in a regular sense, a chain is a group of pieces of metal that lock together to block the entrance to something. However, here, a fast food chain refers to a series of restaurants that all belong to the same corporation. The most famous restaurant in the world is a chain called McDonald's. I think it's in just about every country I've ever been to. So Nathan's is a fast food chain. By the way, there are just about 200 Nathan's famous all over the world. Unfortunately, not in Korea. So there is a hot dog eating contest on the 4th every year. The record for this contest was set by Joey Chestnut in 2021 when he crammed 76 hot dogs down his throat in 10 minutes. Cram, it means to stuff, to take something and to push it down as hard as you can. So let's say that I am planning a trip and I need to take a lot of stuff with me. I will cram as many things into my suitcase as I can. Joey Chestnut, who is an awfully good eater, crammed a lot of hot dogs down his throat in 10 minutes. And finally, throat. Throat is a commonly misunderstood word here in Korea. I often have students tell me, "Oh, teacher, my neck hurts." Well, it's entirely possible for your neck to hurt. Maybe you slept on it wrong and you have a crick in your neck. But usually when I hear a student say they have their neck hurts, what they usually mean is their throat hurts. The neck is the outside part of you that you can see. The throat is the part where all of the air and all the food go down from your mouth into the other parts of your body. All right, guys, hooray! You've done it. Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.